Like, share, and subscribe. Live for Love TV. Oh.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today is the 23rd day of the 12th month, the 21st year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about suicide. And you know, most people believe that people commit suicide, they're heavily depressed or they have a mental illness. Now, there are many reasons for people committing suicide. I'm not an expert on it, but there are many reasons, and that is definitely one of the reasons, mental illness and depression. But there may be other reasons, depending on environment and certain circumstances, why people commit suicides. But the World Health Authority on the internet gives you the figures to the suicide rates in the countries. And some of the things may surprise you, that so many countries that are first world countries are higher than so many countries that are third world countries. Now, the number one country at the moment, I believe, is Guyana, which obviously is the third world country down in the tip of South America. But there are a lot of countries that you'd be really surprised at, like Belgium, which are always told is a very peaceful, a nice place to live, very high on the financial state, the economics are good and stuff like that. But the suicide rate is quite high when you compare it to other countries. I bring it up because this is Live for Love TV, and we, know anybody's struggling with any mental illness or depression or anything like that, they need to seek professional help. But whatever professional help you do seek, love is always going to be the answer to anything like that. Somebody loves you. The problem is when you get into that state, you believe nobody loves you. Well, Live for Love TV loves you, and if you're watching this, just hang on in there. Don't be drastic and don't do anything too drastic, and just speak to somebody, reach out to somebody, even to me or to anybody else. Just give yourself that minute or second to think. Don't do anything, and I won't say anything you'd regret, because that your family and friends and people who really do love you will regret. Anyway, I was looking at the list and some things came to mind which was very interesting. And I'll tell you what I found interesting, because I'd done a video about death rate and about murder rate, very at the beginning of the Live for Love TV journey. And I was talking about Jamaica on that occasion and comparing it to other countries and saying that the murder rate was really high. It was in the stakes of murder, Jamaica was right up there. But the death rate was not on the same level, because obviously, as you know, there's more ways to die than just to be murdered. So a lot of more countries, your life is in, your life and death is going to be more at hand in those countries than even in Jamaica, even though the murder rate is ridiculous. But the suicide rate in Jamaica is very low. Now, suicide rate is measured per 100,000 so that you can get a figure that goes right across the board, because obviously you can't go by the actual number of suicides in a country when you have bigger populations and small populations. But when you do it per 100,000, that gives you a view. And you look at places like America that have 5 to 6 times more chance of somebody committing suicide in America than there is in Jamaica. Even the UK is over 3.5 times more likely for someone to commit suicide than in Jamaica. In fact, Jamaica is very low. There's not many countries lower than Jamaica. I mean, Grenada is below, Barbados is below, and the Bahamas is below. But Jamaica is very low. I think it's just over 2 people per 100,000 actually commit suicide in Jamaica. Now, those people who want to give Jamaica a bad name are going to say, well, there's a whole heap of different ways to die in Jamaica. People do a lot of murders and this and that. We're talking about particularly suicide. People who actually want to take their own lives for whatever reason and actually go through with it and are actually successful. It doesn't seem to be the way of choice in Jamaica. And it doesn't mean that Jamaica's mental state is in a better state than anywhere else. I'm certainly not offering that as a reason. But I'm also trying to always balance the scale. The other day we heard on one of these Jamaican so-called journalists or radio personality, he played a clip of a man who claimed to be a diplomat, the scourge of Jamaica. He said he would never go back to Jamaica. And then we got another woman who lives in Jamaica, who also does stuff about Jamaica, uncovering a proper journalist, not these fake little journalists that we have here in Jamaica. This is a real journalist that comes from out of Europe that lives in Jamaica. And she was able to find that this person claiming to be a diplomat was actually married to a diplomat and was more often than not lying about his own personal facts and lying about why he mentioned that he'd rather live in Mexico than Jamaica. And I'm just saying that you can live anywhere in the world you want to live. Anywhere in the world you want to live and anywhere you feel comfortable. But there are statistics, and I like stats because you can look at them. And when you see things like the stats about people committing suicide, and we don't like this. We hate to think of anybody's family or friends that commit suicide. It's a terrible way for somebody to feel that they have to get out of this world, and the families suffer greatly. But that's not something that's very high in the country of Jamaica for whatever reason, and we're happy about that. And we like to, applaud that for whatever reason. We applaud it to say, that's good. Is it maybe, I don't know, it could be so many reasons for it. It could be that there's so many outlets in Jamaica. Maybe it's the music. Maybe it's the fact that people can express themselves in so many different ways. Maybe they can stand on the corner where they can't in other countries and talk with a reason with their brethren, rather than going into their little private homes or flats about 15 floors up in a tower block and feel like this is the end. So I don't know the reason for it, but I thought I'd draw your attention to it, as this is Live for Love TV. So we just keep it moving, keep it rolling, and keep tuned in and keep commenting. Live for Love TV. God bless.
People, one step more, one step more, one step more, one step more, until you reach your goals. One step more. This is Live for Love